on A News at 5.
I knew something wasn't right because the nurses were panicking.
New details tonight on the death of a newborn at Victoria General Hospital. Tonight, the baby's family speaks out in an exclusive interview with A News.
Certainly the way it's being brought about is perhaps not something that the BCMA would condone.
And the BCMA speaks out tonight. The Medical Association says linking a baby's death to the lack of anesthesiologists is nothing more than a fear campaign.
I'm Gord Kerbis in Courtney, where the friends and family of a murdered 19-year-old man continue their calls for justice. We'll have the latest for you still ahead on A News at 5.
Also tonight, troubled waters. Ridership on BC ferries drops to a 20-year low this summer. Those stories and more on A News at 5 next.
This is A News at 5.
Good evening. Thank you for being here. There is more tonight on the death of a newborn baby at Victoria General Hospital. The grandmother of a woman who lost her baby during a C-section at Vic General last week believes that the infant would be alive today if doctors had performed that cesarean section sooner. The grandmother, Erna Tuttle, says there were signs that the baby was in distress, but she says the attending doctor could not perform the surgery any sooner because an anesthesiologist was not available. The family is sharing its tragic story tonight exclusively with A News. ASTRID BRAUNSCHMIDT now with details.
Erna Tuttle says her granddaughter's labor and delivery was going well until 7:30 p.m. on August 9th. That's when, she says, the baby Shirley Anderson was delivering showed signs of an irregular heartbeat.
I knew something wasn't right because the nurses were panicking. They were very silent, very quiet, but they watched the baby's heartbeat. They never left their eyes off it.
Erna says she stayed with Shirley during her entire birthing event and watched the attending doctor try several times to deliver the infant using suction and forceps. At 11:30 p.m., 4 hours after the baby's heartbeat first became irregular, Erna says the attending physician suggested a C-section.
I asked the doctor at that time, why didn't they give her a cesarean when the first red flag went up? She said because she didn't have an anesthesiologist.
Shirley says she remembers being wheeled to the operating room. Erna remembers waiting outside the OR doors for half an hour before an anesthesiologist arrived.
It was 12 o'clock by the time he arrived. It was 11:30 they made the decision for her to go into OR. I watched the anesthesiologist come running. He was running down the hall. He was trying every door that he could to get into OR. They were locked and he had to go all the way down to ICU and go in through ICU.
Shirley says everything she dreamed could go wrong did. Her 7.5-pound baby girl named Ava Marie did not come out of the operating room alive.
She looked forward to this baby because Shirley had been in 48 foster homes throughout her life. And that's all she wanted was someone to love her and for her to love someone else.
The coroner's office tells A News it is satisfied in its discussions with the attending physician and says this was a stillbirth and it has no jurisdiction in the case. But Erna disagrees.
No, she was not stillborn because there was a heartbeat when she went into OR. We heard it, we seen it, she felt it. That baby was still alive when it went into OR.
Tonight, Shirley is still in hospital recovering from additional surgeries to treat infections which developed after the C-section.
ASTRID BRAUNSCHMIDT joins us now live with more. ASTRID, this is a public issue, but it's a very private tragedy for the family. Why did Shirley and her grandmother choose to come forward and speak with us about the very personal details?
Well, you know, Hudson, both Shirley and Ernest said that they really don't want any family to go through what they've dealt with over the past 10 days. Shirley insists that her pregnancy was not high risk and that she sought all the appropriate maternity care. Despite all her pain and suffering, Shirley says when she has healed physically and emotionally, she would like to have another baby. The family, though, Hudson, is now exploring its legal options.
All right. ASTRID BRAUNSCHMIDT reporting. ASTRID, thank you.
You're welcome.